Former Roscosmos head Dmitry Rogozin openly admitted in an interview that military operations at the current stage have led to a dead end. According to him, traditional offensive methods are currently ineffective. Drones, powerful minefields, and an enemy equally equipped and trained make large-scale military movements dangerous and almost futile. Rogozin specifically noted the high willpower of the Ukrainian Armed Forces. He stated that Russia and Ukraine are equal on the battlefield. It is believed that this is an exposure of the dictator by a close associate of Putin, because until Putin had been declaring the superiority of the Russian army in all directions. Rogozin stated that the war has become tactical and local in nature, and large-scale assault operations had become extremely difficult. He emphasized that the presence of drones on both sides of the line made the movement and use of equipment risky. And if equipment appears, any military equipment within 20 kilometers of the line of contact will be burned. He also noted that the widespread mining of roads and a dense surveillance network hinder advancement and make defense and attack equivalent in terms of costs and losses. According to him, the current war has been reduced to assault groups of several people, forced to operate under constant threats from the air and on the ground. Equipment and soldiers are vulnerable to drones and remotely controlled explosive devices. That's where the dead end is, he said. In this case, Russian Z-patriot and war criminal Igor Strelkov wrote a new letter from prison, stating that the situation for Russia is rapidly deteriorating. According to him, the country is heading towards disaster, and the leadership is unable to turn the situation around. The situation is clearly heading toward disaster. Now, regarding the situation, I assess it as steadily deteriorating, smooth, unhurried, without any sudden breakdowns, and likely offset by completely senseless and equally insignificant but costly losses. The Ukrainians continue to rather calmly trade territory for time and resources, and our leadership can do nothing about it, he wrote from prison. Strelkov noted that the Ukrainian offensive he expected in September never materialized. He also suggested that Kiev might abandon risky operations altogether until spring and focus on wearing down Russia, while the socio-economic situation within the country worsens. If the Ukrainian counter-offensive doesn't occur before the second 10-day period of October, then most likely there won't be one at all this year, he noted. It's worth noting that Strelkov was convicted by an international court of war criminals and sentenced to life imprisonment for shooting down a passenger plane over Donbass. However, he ended up behind bars in Russia for a different reason. The Kremlin cracked down on him by harshly criticizing Vladimir Putin and mentioning his mistress, Alina Kabayeva. He repeatedly criticized the Kremlin for its failure to defeat Ukraine. The statements of the Z-patriot show that even among radical supporters of the war in Russia, there is a growing understanding of failure and hopelessness.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov hosted a ceremony Monday for signing cooperation agreements between Russian-controlled regions of Ukraine and Nicaragua. According to Associated Press, agreements on trade and economic cooperation were signed by Laureano Ortega Murillo, Nicaragua's special representative for relations with Russia, and the Moscow-installed leaders of Donetsk and Luhansk People's Republics, as well as the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. We see growing interest from countries in the global south and east in establishing contacts with new Russian regions, Lavrov said at the ceremony. The industrial potential of Donbass and Novorossiya is vast, and the prospects for expanding mutually beneficial cooperation are clear. Our partners abroad understand this, he added. Lavrov also praised Russia-Nicaragua relations, saying the agreements mark an important step in the further development of our bilateral partnership. Nicaragua and Russia are long-standing strategic partners, like-minded partners, foreign policy allies, and loyal friends, he said. Nicaragua's President Daniel Ortega is a staunch ally of Russia, and in June 2022, less than 6 months after Russia's military operation in Ukraine, he authorized Russian troops, planes and ships to deploy to Nicaragua for training and law enforcement.
Мы видим, что интерес со стороны стран глобального Юга и Востока к налаживанию контактов с новыми российскими регионами растет. Эти регионы России посещают представители общественно-политических, деловых, научных кругов, которые могут воочию увидеть разницу между действительностью и откровенно русофобской пропагандой, которую распространяют ангажированные западные средства массовой информации. Такие контакты мы будем и далее всемерно поощрять, тем более, что промышленный потенциал Донбасса и Новороссии действительно масштабен, и перспективы для расширения взаимовыгодной кооперации налицо, и наши партнеры за рубежом это понимают.
Especial de los copresidentes de la República de Nicaragua para la cooperación con Rusia.
Никарагуа и Россия – давние стратегические партнеры, единомышленники, внешнеполитические союзники и верные друзья. И сегодняшнее мероприятие – яркое тому подтверждение. В будущее российско-никарагуанские отношения мы смотрим с оптимизмом, и залог успеха – объединяющее наши народы чувство глубокого взаимного уважения, искренней симпатии и братской солидарности. Я убежден, что практическая реализация подписываемых сегодня соглашений станет важным шагом в деле дальнейшего развития нашего двустороннего партнерства.
Хотелось бы еще поблагодарить за такую позицию Республику Никарагуа, потому что, все-таки это смелость в нынешнем современном мире.
Республики и правительством Республики Никарагуа